motion, I've signed this motion. It's a simple one, and as Deputy Maureen O'Sullivan said, it's civilised. But I have a patience limit too, and it's coming near to the end. I'm saddened by the absence of a senior minister of finance, by even the Taoiseach, because this is important for the people of Ireland. There's a huge disconnect between the phoniness of the words and discussions that are going on in a meaningless noise and the reality of what's on the ground in families and in businesses. A total disconnect. Yesterday in the order of business, I said to the Taoiseach, I asked him sincerely, and really sincerely, to inform himself by reading the book The Price of Inequality by Joseph E. Stiglitz. And he dismissed it, saying, these economists are 100 to 1,000. They're all the same. They're not. There are some people who are worth finding and discovering and reading because they have authority of huge knowledge and study, contemporary and historical. And they've something to offer and they're articulate. I bought him the book today, and by kindness of the government chief whip, I hope it's now on his desk, with an exhortation that I know he carries heavy responsibilities, but I think he'll find that book helpful. Hedge fund managers couldn't believe what happened back in 2008, 9 and 10 when we paid, when we borrowed as a nation through the banking system to pay bond speculators. They couldn't believe it. They said it was absurd. I joined this House, I was elected to this House after taking part in the analysis and the research needed to find out what exactly the position was for the banks. And there was 100 billion of losses in 6 Irish banks that was being denied, and heads in the sand, they didn't want to know. And for 2 years, that cost us the ability to get a handle on the problem. And time went by and bondholders were paid, and the ECB and the Central Bank of Ireland lent the money on foot of a contrived promissory note for 31 billion in total, actually. And that is odious debt. It's losses of the private banking system. We talk about money follows the patient for the health service. Well, here, private bank losses are made to follow the innocent citizens today and into the future. 1 minute remaining. It's absurd. I'm embarrassed by it. When I went to Germany to the Bundestag, paying for it myself, to the Finance Committee on a parliamentary delegation, I was embarrassed by the deferential timidity of my colleagues here, who were afraid to tell the truth. Afraid of it. It's unbelievable. Mrs. Merkel, who was chair of the Bundestag Finance Committee, actually, her eyes popped when I told her that if the German people were asked to bear 75 billion equivalent in German scale, which would be 1.2 trillion, they couldn't believe it. And I was told by our chair, Peter, keep it down. Don't tell them. We're the good boys. It's pathetic. I'm not saying have a war. Germany, its creditors after World War II in 1953 said, without even being asked, we've got to help these people. They're bricks, rubble, damaged, orphans, everything. And they got help. They don't want to see what's happening here. They don't want to see an Aviva stadium full of elderly people with no medical cards, can't go to hospitals, doctors, and get their medicines. The Aviva stadium, it's not 45,000. Visualise it. Visualise the numbers of children, 2 Croke Parkfuls of young people in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and so on. It's embarrassing. I didn't join this House. I didn't want to be amongst cowards. I want people to be authentic and passionate about the people of Ireland. Forget the jerseys of Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Labour or whatever. Take them off. Take the badges off and work for the people of Ireland.
Deputy Mathews, I have to call